Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ginge Pedro Show. I'm, of course, your host, General Ham Fisting.
Ew.
Alongside me, my first sergeant, Pedro Ang. How you doing,
Oh, I'm a
sir?
sergeant?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you're the first sergeant. That's
Okay.
a high-ranking sergeant.
I don't know. I feel like a subordinate. I don't know if I like this.
No, bro, you're like the right hand to the general. If that's like the top,
Yeah.
that's like the top enlisted rank. Is the
Yeah, but
first
that's
sergeant.
still under a general. Who's the general? You?
What? Me. But come on, I'm General Ham Fisting.
Yeah, I see. That's
Somebody's
what
got
you
to
gotta do.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah,
So
I
I
guess.
crowned myself. I figured,
Mhm,
why not?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're crowning, you better.
Yeah.
might as
No,
well
it's a good
crown yourself.
segue. We do
Yeah.
have one of the CG Kings on in
Oh
the
yeah,
back
dude.
room.
This is an honor,
Mhm.
and I'm turgid, stiff. If you
Ooh,
if
you're
you may.
stiff then.
Yeah, for this guest, yeah, dude, this is one of the guys. Like, I have his book on how to draw comics, like how to draw
Absolutely.
dynamic comics. Yeah, I have his book. My brother bought it for me in the early 2000s. So I've been like, I know who our guest is for a while now. So
Hey, speaking of friendly faces,
hey,
we
what's
got
up,
Past
Mr.
Master
Dan?
Dan. What's up, Danny?
Hey,
If I
what's up,
can.
man?
Says,
Oh.
hey, you guys. Hey, buddy. Also, thanks for sharing. Yeah, Dan's CG's moderator. I'm pretty sure he's a mod on our channel. Great guy.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, no. If he's not, I deserve a smacking, but not to be confused with a spanking. I'm not asking for that, just a smacking.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you were asking.
All right. Okay, let's enough of the mess. Our guest, he does have limited time, so let's go ahead and bring him out. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, artist and writer creator Andy Smith.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hey.
dude. I feel like going like Kermit the Frog, I was like, yeah, it's Andy Smith.
Whoa.
How you doing, sir?
What's up, guys?
Oh,
Thank
doing
you
great,
for
man.
Having me. I'm glad we can make this work out. So
Absolutely, thank you, sir.
Awesome.
I mean, it was really all on your end, just being kind enough to wheel and deal with us here. So we really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem.
Fantastic. So how's your day, man? You certainly busy, but how you doing?
Yeah, so I work above our garage. So I've been all day downstairs or in the garage with my co-creator on Cord Rat, Dennis, and we've just been putting books together and packing stuff up and getting it out.
Nice.
And
All right.
I don't know, we got over 100 out today, so it's cruising.
So
It
you're
is
having
one of those-
fulfillment. Yeah, like this is like old CG style. Like I have my own fulfillment because like we right now, like people who offer the services of fulfilling. So you're doing it yourself. How's your back?
You know, it's funny. What was it? So we started last Monday, so a week ago, and I finally kind of nailed how I feel at night when the day's over because I'm tired. But it's not a tired of just like, normal winding down. And I finally realized, I told Dennis, I said, dude, I know what it is. I feel like I just got done doing a full day at a con. That's the tired I feel.
Nice.
And that's different from just the tired of like, after just a normal day, whether, drawing, whatever. And that's what it is because my back, because I stand the whole time.
Yeah.
Dennis does have some back problems, so he'll sit down while he's doing what he's doing. We kind of have a system worked out, but I stand the whole time because, generally most of my day I'm sitting down. So if we're doing fulfillment, I'll just stand the whole day. And, and it's kind of like at a con, not that I stand at a con the whole day, but a lot of my time I am on my feet and stuff. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear.
You might want to look into some like mats, just like some like foam mats for you guys to stand on.
That's true.
Might sort of absorb some of that sort of weight off your shoulders. But yeah, I fulfilled my first book. We use RJ now just because like that experience it was definitely a labor of love. Like I remember my back hurting as well. I definitely didn't have near as many books as you, obviously, but it was like it took 2 days and it was like 6 hours on each day. So I mean, it's really it's an event doing fulfillment. It definitely takes.
I mean, it looks and it feels like warehouse work. Like I don't know, like when I see like it's basically that without the forklift. Hopefully,
no, it totally is because you're just sitting there. When we first started doing the fulfillment, we started with, I mean, I guess you could say the basic stuff, just the people that got like cover A, and that was it. So that was easy because it's like, and back to RJ real quick. I was on his show a couple weeks ago and we talked afterwards. And he was telling me about the spreadsheet that he does and stuff when he does fulfillment. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Is that just the service by itself? And he was like, yeah, I can do the spreadsheet. If you send me, the Indiegogo spreadsheet, I can work it into the spreadsheet that I use for fulfillment. And, it costs this much, which was, a very reasonable deal. So I did that. And his spreadsheet alone is just saving us so much time. But yeah, I was just doing, Dennis and I were just doing cover A's. And then after that, we did like, cover B's and then people that just got C and so on and so forth. But now we're up to, and those fly by, but now we're up to doing like, okay, this guy got cover A, he got cover E. Oh, he also got First Man with your cover, but then he got volume 2 of First Man with Bart's cover. So we've got all this stuff laid out in front of us, and it's just like, juggling. And on the outside of every mailer, using RJ's system, he has these codes for everything, and the codes print out on the labels so you can match everything right. So we're writing the codes on the outside. So it slows you down some, but it's still, I told Dennis today, I said, I don't really know how we would do this without this system and this spreadsheet that he set up, because it is just phenomenal.
Yeah. You just mentioned First Man, and as somebody who has known First Man from your How to Draw Dynamic Comic Books book.
Oh yeah.
Back in, I got it in like 2002. Like my brother bought it for me. Let's go back to the beginning. Like what made Andy Smith to make this decision to say, like, okay, I'm going to draw comics with all the pain and suffering it brings. So how we came about to that point?
Well, I mean, when you're a kid, you don't know that there's going to be pain and suffering in comics. So, like I always say, every kid, as soon as they can hold a pencil, crayon, whatever, draws. The difference between the artists that do it now, like us, and everybody else is, and my daughter was like this, once she learned how to do other things when she was like, say, 4 or 5, she just had no interest in drawing anymore because she learned other things. Whereas with us, it just never stops. It's something you got to do. And even now, like doing fulfillment, I didn't draw anything today. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. And it's driving me crazy, because even if it's just spending a half hour to an hour doing something, I feel like I have to do it. So anyhow, so I drew as a kid. I got, I picked up my first comic book early on when I was like 12 or so, and was just like, what is this? What are these things? And just fell in love with it. And started trying to draw. Basically, I started off drawing cars because I was into Hot Wheels and all that stuff. And I've always been kind of a motorhead, always into cars. And once I discovered comic books, what's that?
The Ace of Spades. You said motorhead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I was always in high school. I was part of that clique where I was part of the clique where we had cars that we worked on. Back then cars were so much easier. We could work on the engines ourselves, pull the engines apart, put, better valves, carburetors, camshafts in them to make them faster. We could do all that crap ourselves. And, but once I discovered superheroes, I I stopped drawing cars and I just started trying to draw, superheroes and comics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I discovered the Kubert School, the Joe Kubert School through comic book ads. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is it. This is the place I want to go to.
Nice.
And I did, I got accepted after high school. And I took a year off after high school. Before I went, I was originally going to go right out of high school, take a 3-month summer break, start in the fall. But over the summer, I decided, I'd like to take a year off. So my parents were like, that's cool. And I talked to the Kubert School and they're like, that's fine. We'll just hold your spot till the next year. Mm-hmm. But getting back to the whole crazy part of drawing comics, you got to be crazy to do it. I remember in my first year of the Kubert School, I swear to God, every teacher I had, and I had 10 different teachers. One of them was Jose Delbo, a fantastic comic book artist. And I mean, Jose was like, you just have to be nuts to want to draw comics for a living. And, all of us were like, what are you talking about? It'd be so much fun. And this is a guy that, this was 1988. He probably started, he probably started drawing comics professionally. If this was 1988, I don't know. Jose was drawing Wonder Woman in the 70s. Oh, cool. He probably started in the 50s, I'll say. So he already had 30 years in the business.
Holy smokes.
And, and I've got 30 years in the business now. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was obviously partially joking, but, like you said, it's, you got to be kind of crazy to want to do this for a living because it's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job. Whenever a kid comes up to me and says like, I want to be an animator, I just do the evil laugh. Like, try it, kid. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, and you do really separate the people that want to do it and don't, because in the Kubert School, we started with 100 students in my class.
Wow.
When we came back for second year, we had about 70, and then third year, it's a 3-year school. We graduated like maybe 35. Wow. So people just realized this is tough. It's not just sitting down, drawing whatever you want. You got to draw what you're told to draw.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like you got to draw. I mean, you draw cars. So I noticed a lot among artists, like when drawing gets technical, like, hey, you have to draw this piece of machinery. Like a lot of people just run for the hills or just like use SketchUp or whatever. But since you drew cars, like, you didn't find it like hard for you to draw tech, for example?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, I guess, one of the first books I ever bought before the Kubert School was the one everybody gets, which is How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way.
Oh, yeah.
And he just, John Buscema just breaks it down pretty simple with, the basic shapes, and even in school, it was just think of everything in the basic shapes. If you can look around and visualize, everyday objects and just see them in your mind's eyes, the basic shape, then drawing it's not that tough once you learn perspective and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I will say that the time period I grew up in reading comics, there were the guys I liked, John Byrne, George Perez, John Buscema, Neil Adams, guys like that. If they had to draw a specific car, make and model, they would. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, it was just, I got to draw a car. All right, I can make it up.
Yeah, the idea of a car.
I can look at a picture and make it up.
Yeah.
But nowadays, just with, and it does still depend on your style, but I consider my stuff, what I refer to my art style as pseudo-realistic or stylized realism. So it's not cartoony, but it's still not photorealistic. But because it falls into what I call the stylized realism, it is harder on myself, because if I am drawing a car, I can't just draw a cartoony car, because it would stick out from how I draw people or how I draw buildings. So I have, you need to be consistent. So I think it helps to do that, So
went ahead and pulled the campaign up here just so we can actually.
There you go.
Yeah, you've got that. We've got all this listed in the description as well for your YouTube and your Twitter and the campaign as well. Real quick, guys, I do just want to say hello to the chat because we got some friends up in here. Real quick here, Past Master Dan. We said hey to Dan. And Marcus Kelligrew in the chat. He says, hail, Andy and Pedro. I noticed that someone was seemingly left out of that.
They left the general out.
Interesting.
Go figure.
Very well. Okay. No. Hello, Marcus. We got Pops in the chat. Hey there, sir. Neo Star. Hey, buddy. He says, man, I wish I paid more attention to cars growing up. This is me as well. Yeah, I didn't give a shit about cars growing up. But now
what Andy just said, I mean, regarding drawing, like if you don't know how to work in your car, like, yeah, there's videos on YouTube that can help you out with that. But with drawing, is just what Andy said. Like, if you can draw the basic shape, you just have to fit the car within the shape. Like, if you can draw a cube perspective, just put the car like you're putting it into a box. Because, like, the little details follow the same perspective as the big details. So just practice.
Well, it's like sculpting. I look at it. I look at drawing almost like sculpting, except on paper. And what I mean by that is when I start off drawing, I use a pretty blunt, pretty blunt HB lead and a lead holder. And, you know, lead holders for people watching is exactly what it means. It's a device that, you know, holds a pretty fat piece of lead. And you can sharpen it to a point, but I don't. I keep it pretty blunt, and I start most of my drawing with that. And it's all about the big shapes and things like that. And then once I get all that down, the reason I say kind of like sculpting is because then I'll use a kneaded eraser usually to kind of go over it and wipe it away. So there's a ghost image of it. And then I'll take, you know, my .05 mechanical pencil that is also HB lead. And that's when I go in and start really kind of sculpting it and working in details and stuff. So I go from big to small, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people think that, well, you know, when you see kids or somebody starting to draw that doesn't have that much experience, they'll start with an outline, or they'll start with like, you know, if it's a face, like an eye or something like that. And it's like, no, start big, go down to it. So you start with the big shape. So a head is, you know, oval, however you do it. The center lines to line everything up. And same thing, you know, the eyes, I just kind of rough in very bluntly, you know, with that pencil. And then I'll use the mechanical pencil that is a finer point to get in the details and such. So, you know, if you're drawing a scene on a street, you lay your perspective in, and then you don't worry about the details of like buildings. You just put in the big shapes of the buildings and the shapes of the cars and the shapes of the trees and whatever the details are, people, everything. And once you get the shapes in, that's when you can start refining it down to the details. So
very
on. Yeah.
So you use a 2mm pencil. Oh, I see it right there, like on the
video. So there's the lead holder. The blue one is the lead holder, and then the black one is the .5 mechanical.
The .5 mechanical. So for you guys, you want to seek that out? That's a 2mm lead holder. I think that's a Stedler you got there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
So inexpensive.
Here's my old reliable right here.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know that .5 mechanical pencil, it's a black Pentel. It's literally the brand that I started using back in the Kubert school, and you know, you really never have to replace it. It's not like they break. You only have to replace the lead. So
yeah, I mean, you really have to go nuts on a pencil like that to break it. Like
and I've tried. You know, the thing is too, I firmly believe when you're starting out, try everything. So like I met Mike Zeck very early on when I was working in the business, and Mike Zeck is a guy, you know, he's old school. He started drawing, you know, professionally in the 70s. But when I say he's old school, Mike Zeck is literally, he told me, he goes, I just go to the office store and buy a box of number 2 pencils.
Yeah.
And that's what he would use.
Wasteful, yeah. The thing that what I don't like about working with the brand down here in Panama is Mongol.
I know those. Yeah.
the Mungo pencils. Is that you sharpen them, and you end up like with a little stub, and you just want to be like frugal, and then you destroy your hand. Like that's why I like the lead holder better.
Yeah,
you get this position with your hand.
Nah, well, when I was using because the other type of pencil I tried once too was just the HB and the whole pencil. It's the size of a pencil, circular wise, diameter, or whatever, but the whole thing is literally just lead. So you can still sharpen it to a point, but the whole pencil itself is lead, and it just has like this almost like plastic outer laying to cover the lead while you're holding it. But same thing, you get it down to real small, then you got to use, which I have, is a pencil extender that you put on it. So it's, and I just hated that too. And I guess no matter, and I tried, like I know Aaron Lepresti starts everything with a non-photo blue.
Yeah.
And I tried that and just didn't like it. I tried using a blue lead in the mechanical pencil. Just didn't like it. And I just ended up going back to what felt right, which is the lead holder and the mechanical, the two process.
But in the lead holder, you use 2B or do you use another like?
No, it's lead? HB. It's the same HB? Lead in each one. Okay. Yeah, HB. Cool. The softest lead I've ever used was just the B. So. I remember those as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in animation school, I started with non-photo blue, and it's a very soft lead. So it's good for like gesturing and whatnot. But when it comes down to detail, like you lose your point too fast with the non-photo blue. And it's nothing to that. So I can see why the comments.
I just want to, before we get, because this is a great conversation talking about pencils. And I'm not trying to be funny, even though that sounds, no, I mean it.
Oh, no.
No, real quick, I just,
word. No, I hear you. But real quick, Rob Wilson Arts, hey buddy, he says, hail to the panel and to the chat. And real quick, just in case I missed him or not, Shadow Punk. What up, brother? Been on the show before, great artist.
Yeah.
And real quick, special thank you to Marcus Kellegrew for acknowledging me. Hello there, buddy. And then also subscribing. So okay.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, Ginge.
Okay, guys. Sorry about that. No, I just wanted to say hey to the chat, but no, in the I'm actually working out of that right now, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. And like the start of that book, they talk about I think it's specifically just like a number 2 pencil is the only pencil they reference. So but it was wrote around that time, so like the 70s,
Yeah, and a number 2 pencil, from what I know, is just HB lead anyhow.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, HB is middle of the road. That's why it's HB. It's not, because you can get just an H, you can get just a B, but the HB is the nice middle of the road. Now, I know guys that use like a 2B to draw their pages, and I'm like, it's just way too soft. And for an inker, you almost have to kind of like pat it with a kneaded eraser before you ink it, because the graphite is so soft that your ink could almost sit on top of it and not absorb down into it. So
that's the thing. Like I tried drawing with 2B, and I mean for animation you scan and then you like do a treatment in Photoshop to like blacken the line, so we're not dealing with ink. Or I mean in the old ways we use like acetate, so we like paint it like behind. But I mean, for comics, like I've been learning a lot of this. I've been doing comics for 4 years now. Wow.
Oh.
Time flies. Yeah, because the thing's like I was about to say like I'm new to comics, but can I still say I'm new to comics after 4 years? Probably.
No, I wouldn't say so.
But the thing is like I've been to adapting a lot of my equipment and what I do, because some things that work in animation don't apply to comics. And one of them is the that's why I'm talking about pencils. I mean, now that we have you here, I can have this conversation, because the pencil choice is very important to the final result on the page. Because softer leads, they're not the friends of inks. And I found that the hard way. I have to redo the same page for a client like 3 times. It's like, why is it not working? It's like I was using a 2B.
Yeah.
And so.
Go ahead.
Real quick, guys. Because we've only got a little bit of time here with Andy, so I don't want to because I do kind of want to talk a little bit about not necessarily EFAPing Glenn, as Ethan calls him, Saint Glenn, but more just sort of. I don't know if you guys have seen Marrk Mulgrave like today over the last 2 days. I know obviously there's been the video where he interviewed the guy and all that.
It's Miller. It's Miller, right?
Well, I think it's Mulgrave, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Regardless, I was just curious about you guys' thoughts because the last 2 days he's been really going off, I'd say, and it's got me personally very excited. I feel like this is just like the cancel peg. That's such a great word. You just want to say it, but also it's like I don't know. We've had like winds of change blow before, but I don't know. This one actually has got me really excited.
Okay. Do you really have to bring out your undying love for scorpions and say winds of change? Really?
The winds of change.
Yeah, dude. Don't whistle, Ginge. Don't whistle.
I like that song. Hey, I love the Scorpions.
Yeah, I love Scorpions, but with the Ginge, something that's just it's ungodly. His love for Scorpions. So he's always trying to get the name songs into the conversation. It's just no, stop it.
It's one of the few bands I've seen in concert. So.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
All right, jolly good.
Yeah, but no, so, the whole thing with the cancel picks. Go ahead, Andy. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think, Andy?
So. I mean, I'm not up as much on that. I saw that, Marrk Mulgrave use that and stuff. I'm more up on, the one video that started it all with that retailer, Glenn. I did not see his interview that Mark had him on, but I found nothing wrong at all with what he said. I mean, one, that's his feeling about it. He's a retailer. He's got more experience in that side of things than I do. I've never owned a store. I've drawn comics for 32 years. I've never sold them like, he does. But, I think he has valid points and he should be listened to. And I've talked to other retailers that kind of say the same stuff. And I just don't understand other professionals because I have seen, we looked at him on the Kings last night and stuff. Going after the guy. And it's like, for what? What'd he say that's so wrong? I mean, you can disagree with him, but that doesn't mean he's wrong and you're right. One of the things I brought up last night is you often hear people say, well, that's my truth, and you can't disagree with it. Well, okay. Well, I said last night, well, that's that guy's truth then, and why are you disagreeing with him? Oh, I see, because it's not yours. So when it's yours, it's fine, but when it's somebody else's, oh, forget it. You got to come after them. So, comics aren't selling like they used to, man. I go to the comic shop every freaking Wednesday, like clockwork. I go every Wednesday, and before that, it was Thursday, and before that, way long ago, it was Friday. And I go every Wednesday. If my daughter doesn't want to go with me, I'll go when they open at 11. My daughter's into it now, so I usually take her after work, and I just wait till 1 and we go together. Right. But I spent like $6 last week, or 6 and change. I bought basically $2, $3.99 a piece. I get a discount, so it came out to 6 and change. But point is, that's sad because in the heyday, and I'm talking just like early 2000s and like 10 years ago and stuff, I'd probably spend $20-25 a week, buying stuff. And that's not all just Marvel and DC, but it was more Marvel and DC and, some Image. Now it's just like, like tomorrow, great example. Tomorrow, I'm getting one book. And it is the facsimile edition that DC is putting out of What If Robin Lived from Death in the Family. They decided, you know what, we've got the whole book. Why don't we put it out? So they're finally putting out, after 30 some years, the version of What If, Robin Lived, and they didn't go, all the phone calls where they killed him off. That's it. Yeah. That's all I'm getting tomorrow. Good God.
Oh man,
that does sound interesting, though. I was piqued when I heard about that a couple weeks ago, but if I can real quick, I actually went to my local shop. We've had 3 in the area. One kind of shut down and does stuff digitally on the road now. And I went to my first comic shop, the one I grew up in, and like I'd say probably 4 or 5 years ago, they stopped carrying Marvel outright. Like,
really?
Yeah, I forget the specific reason. I believe it was sales related, but I think it had something to do with Diamond forcing them to buy a bunch of extra stuff, right? And just over time, and I mean, comic shops, even when I went there in 6th grade, it was also like heavy into Magic and D&D and stuff like that. But it had a huge selection of comics. It's a great shop. It's Comic Emporium in Panama City. It's, shout out. But yeah, they had, like, when I went in last week, it was the new section was probably just one stand, and it was I mean, there was more like random image stuff. I mean, there was literally nothing interesting, like just maybe a few Marvel and then a few DC. And then I went, like behind there, like their only other new comics was stuff from like 3 months ago. And yeah, it wasn't looking super promising in there for comic books. It was like, yeah, it was mostly a game shop at this point, which just is what it is. I mean, they got to survive, so it's all good. But
yeah, sure. I mean, they turn the game shops they just sell manga, which is sad. Like, I'm not American, guys. Like, I don't even live in the U.S. and I'm not one of them Latin Americans who's walking out there. Like, I'm really happy where I'm at, but it makes me sad that American comics. I grew up reading American comics, and now I'm just living with the glories of the past because I don't want to see like Superman having a picnic. Like, I'm not interested in that. But then if I don't buy the comic book, I'm a bigot because I don't care that much about tacos. At least I don't want to see tacos in a comic. It's just
you are brown, so I think you get some pass. You get the hood pass, don't you?
Yeah, get a pass. No, but the thing is, like, I'm not a taco Latin American. That's the thing. Like, tacos is in Mexico, and when you come down here, we're more of a brown rice people.
Got it.
And, yeah, it's just nowadays. Just
yeah. Pop Series says, I've never been a fan of Diamond. You couldn't get anyone to order anything special back in the day. So what do we think about Diamond these days, guys? Because I was looking at their distribution listings the other day, just because I want to get into shops next year. I know we're talking about how not well they're doing, but to me, I still want to try. You know what I mean? So I've looked at, I was just looking at their requirements. It was pretty basic. Have some stuff ready to go and be able to fund like as big of a printing order as you can. That was like really the 2 big ones. Where are you guys interested in that, Andy? Do you think you'd ever use Diamond, or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't really know. As of right now, I don't have any interest. I don't have anything against them. I've never used them personally, but I'm not that gung ho right now to even worry about or consider putting like, First Man or Core Draft or whatever into stores. I kind of like the personal touch of just dealing directly with the fan and the consumer buying it. I love the whole YouTube thing now because you really do connect like we are now, with the fan. And while it's not obviously one-on-one because you've got, obviously groups of people watching, it still feels like it, because you are talking directly to the audience. And I just think that's really cool. And I don't see, selling to a shop, they take a big discount, obviously. Yeah. There's a pretty standard discount when you sell to stores. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with just the logistics of it, I guess. And I'm kind of happy just doing what I'm doing with my own books. And I can't say a few years from now that could change, but right now I just don't have that big of an interest in it. I don't think it would make a huge difference in sales because, for me at least, you know, sure, the name of my brand or company is Astonishing Comics, so it's an A, so that's nice. It would, because they do the catalog in alphabetical order, but you're still behind. If the catalog, I haven't looked at a Diamond catalog in a long time. You know, the way it used to be was they had up front the bigger companies, and then it was all the independent stuff. You know, I mean, if they do that, then, you know, sure, I'd be at the front when it gets to the independent stuff. But I also know a lot of retailers don't even really go that far into that part of the catalog. So I'm good with just how I'm doing it online with the crowdfunding and then taking the stuff to shows. And, you know, once the fulfillment is done, you know, we'll go through inventory, see what we have left, and put it up on a shop on the website and stuff, and just doing it that way. So plus the splintering, you know, if it was just Diamond handling it all like they used to, even though it was a monopoly, at least it was just the one place to go. Now it's just so confusing. You know, and this is talking to retailers and how they're like, oh my God, you got to do Diamond for this, you got to do, you know, this company for DC,
Penguin or
Lunar,
and whatever it is, and you know, Marvel over here, and now Image over here. It's just like, ugh. So,
yeah. Okay, so you mentioned you have Core Draft, and okay, so your pieces are very different, right? So, are you thinking of having like a Andy Smith verse, or you just want to tell the story you want to? Yeah, because that's the thing. Like a lot of people are thinking of going, I'm making my own universe, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, I know Graham's doing his, you know, the Nolan verse, and you know, all the books he does will connect. And you know, Aaron's doing his thing, and there's a connection, but I mean, there's no connection between First Man and Core Draft at all. And look, you know, I try to game out different things, and I thought about it. You know, I thought about, well, I mean, it's a universe, so why couldn't Core Draft be on a world over here, and First Man is obviously on Earth over here? I was like, I'm not doing that. I just want to do, you know, what I want to do. I mean, I don't have any. Would it be cool to be able to, like, you know, have the stuff become so successful? It's like, oh, now I can do this book, and then, oh, I can do a team up book, and it's like, oh, team up this. I mean, that could be cool, but I'm just kind of focused on not necessarily the here and now, because you do need to think a few steps ahead, like in chess. Of course, but the few steps ahead right now are, you know, once fulfillment's done, we're already starting work on Core Draft, you know, on the next chapter and that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the next book,
our here and now is like 1 year or 2 years in advance. We're working on the comic that we're gonna like launch in a couple of months later. So yeah. So after First Man and Core Draft, you're gonna stick to those two IPs, or you have other ideas in mind, or you can't like.
Well, I mean, right now it is Core Draft. First Man, there's still one to complete it, because it is kind of a trilogy. And I always say every book I do, I want you to be able to just read and go, okay, that's a cool story.
Nice.
And not feel like, oh man, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, I gotta wait or whatever. Yeah. So First Man 1 did that, 2, I think, did that. And there's always a little bit of a tease of something at the end, but not necessarily like it needs to come out in the next couple months or a year or whatever. So Core Draft did really well. We have it broken up to where it would be 4 books. I guess you could say 4 chapters, but each one, once again, is a fulfilling story in its own. And that is the focus right now, because I'm really having fun drawing that stuff after, you know, once again, 32 years, most of my career has been in the superhero world of things. You know, 10, 13 years ago, I did do a Red Sonja Claw miniseries. And from that, I did a Claw 6-issue miniseries for DC.
Right
So
on.
for basically that year and a few months, I did, fantasy type stuff like I'm doing now. But most of my career has been superhero, so I'm enjoying doing the sword and sorcery fantasy based stuff that we're building with Kordrath. And Dennis is a really big thinker in regards to the story and stuff and the world building that we're doing with Kordrath. And I want to explore that more and continue that. So
it looks
that is
awesome.
the foreseeable future.
Yeah, dude, it looks awesome. And the whole sword and sorcery thing, it's having like a comeback right now in comic book form. Because, dude, I do remember the things I grew up as a kid. There was this series called Record of Lodoss War. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's just like it's like a D&D game in animated form. And dude, I don't know, like I love superheroes, but give me a good fantasy story, and it got me sold. So, congrats, man. It looks great.
So, real quick, guys, because we're getting close to time for Andy. So we're at and I would like, we got him here, so we definitely got to pitch the book, his campaign going. But real quick, there's a couple little notes in here I'd like to add. Let's see here. We got just the comic shop thing. Rob Wilson says, I go to comic shops and ask if they have indie titles. Even if they don't have them, I tried to plant a seed in the shop owner's head that there's a demand for non-mainstream comics. Yeah, the shop I was in last week, it was like there's maybe between Marvel and DC, maybe 10 like new issues, and none of it was interesting. Like I was like just kind of blown away.
By how bad it was?
Yeah, dude, it was sad, man. It was like walking through. It was just sad. But we got Rob Wilson again. He says, "Damn, Andy Smith, I thought I was done collecting art books for study. Yours is looking pretty cool. It needs to be in my collection." There you go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Pops chiming in here. Andy's art is top notch. Well done. Yeah, scrolling through this book. I mean, this is Scarlet Witch right here, right?
No, Wonder Woman. Oh wait. Oh yeah, there. Yeah. It's hard to see with the watermark thing I put over it. Yep. Yeah. Scarlet Witch. I mean, it's going to be chock full of a lot of different characters I've drawn. Picking pretty much from basically 2000 to I guess it was 2016 or so when I stopped doing full pencils and stuff for other companies. And then there is some stuff I'm going to pull probably from the late 90s that I did that I'll have to scan from photocopies I made. But I just think it's a part of the art that isn't seen because kind of like I say in the video, I've posted full pencils of stuff of mine on my website, but not a ton, just kind of a small example. But the only people that have really seen this stuff are the editors that I work for and the inkers, and that's it. Because after that, it goes to the inker. That's what sees print, with the color and stuff. So it is kind of a peek behind the curtain. I always penciled really tight, and obvious now inking my own stuff. I don't pencil nearly that tight anymore.
So does the name of
I thought it'd be different.
So does the name of the book, Nice and Tight.
There you go.
Nice and tight. Yeah.
I mean, this is really fantastic stuff here. Andy, is there like one, just because we're trying to be respectful of your time, I know you gotta go. Is there like one or two perks that you'd like to sort of highlight? Before we get you out of here?
Well, I mean, here's one of the things I like about Indiegogo. I mean, there's a few things I definitely like over, like Kickstarter and stuff. And one is you can do a featured tier. The other is, and it's the biggest thing, is when the campaign's over, it goes in demand for as long as you want. But I mean, obviously the featured perk I would say is the best deal because you do get a discount. It's the physical book, which is now 60 pages because, the first stretch goal is only $5,000. This isn't a campaign like Kordrath or something where I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to, I mean, once again, I'd love it if it was huge like that, but I go into every campaign, no expectations, because then you can never be let down. So, the first first stretch goal is $5,000. We hit it. Now the book is going to be 60 pages instead of 52. Because for an art book, I think stretch goals should be more pages because it's more content for the backer. And then you get the digital copy, which is the book, but it's a PDF. Unlike PDFs that you send out for just reading, where it doesn't have to be as high res because it is on the computer only. This will be higher res. So if somebody wants to pull the pages into like Clip Studio or Photoshop to practice their inking, they're more than welcome to. Or if they even want to make their own blue lines and print them off onto Bristol to do traditional inking, go right ahead. And then, you know, the third book is one of my favorite sketchbooks I've done through the years. I've probably done 7 or 8 sketchbooks. This is one of my favorites. It's 64 pages when I originally put it out about 8 or 9 years ago, but I'm adding 20 pages of new material for it for the same price that I sold the book for when it originally came out, which was $20. But like I said, because I'm putting it back out, I want to have new art in it. So I'm adding those 20 pages. So I would say the featured tier, of course, is probably the best one to get. But, you know, if you just want to get the nice and tight art book, it is oversized. So it's not, you know, comic book size. It's like a 8.5 by 11 and like 3/4 is the print size. It could be 9 by 12. I just have to check into it, but it'll definitely be the size that I state in the campaign, which is like 8.5, 11 and 3/4, something like that. And I just think it's different because my first thought was doing just a brand new, you know, sketchbook featuring commissions and stuff. But then I just thought to myself, you know, I've done a bunch of those already. I've never seen, because I collect art books from other artists as well. I've got a big collection of them, but I don't have one that just features stuff like this, which is, you know, the process of the pencils, showing the pencils throughout the book. And it's a best of. So it's not going to be like, oh, well, here's my favorite job, 20 pages of this book. One, I'm not quite sure I could do that. And two, I think it'd be kind of boring because, look, if you look through a 20-page book that any artist has drawn, there's going to be pages that are just flat out boring. You know, they're talking heads or people not in costume. So this book is going to basically be a book of going through some of my past jobs going, oh, look at this great page with Superman. That's going in it. Or Wonder Woman or, you know, Green Lantern. Red Sonja's on the cover. There's a Batman splash page, you know, that's going to be in it that's cropped, you know, because I want to do the cover like these pages are laying on a desk.
So no pages of civilians having coffee then?
No, I don't think so.
Awesome.
So even though when I draw pages like that, I try to make them as interesting as possible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I'm putting in the book what I'd like to see, and I personally, I don't want to see plain clothes type stuff from a guy that's known for drawing superheroes like I am. You know,
right? Absolutely.
So, gotcha.
That's how I'm thinking.
Real quick, let's see. We did pick up a backer. Newsflash.
Oh, nice. Thank you, guys.
It was me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hey, well, thank you.
That's kind of cheating, right?
Well, I know.
No, hey, look, when we have people on the Dennis, you know, I do a show with my buddy Dennis, partner in Core Draft, the DNA show every Wednesday. And when we have guests on that want to promote their product and stuff, you know, we hope that they pick up more than one, but if they pick up one or two, generally it's us.
Nice.
But we hope that on replays and stuff, it helps, you know, down the line. So
absolutely.
Any backer's a good backer, so I generally appreciate it. So
I just like giving Ginger a hard time, but yeah.
Oh, I know. Look, if you ever watch the Dennis and Andy show, I give Dennis so much crap, it's not even funny. I give him so much shit that when the show's over, he has to go take a shower. He's covered.
Nice. Yeah.
And Dennis is your writer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, he's the co-creator, writer of Core Draft. Yep.
Yeah, I'm picking up on a trend here because I'm the writer out of me and Pedro. He's my
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Seems to be an artist thing. But no, Andy, we want to thank you, sir, for your time, man. We'd love to have you back on. We'll have to try to schedule it out a little better, but thank you for making it work today.
Yeah, anytime. What's up? You're muted. He's muted. Does he know he's muted?
I had to wait till you were done, but I had to come in and say hi. How you doing?
What's up, man? Yeah, thank you. All right. Well, I guess your guys are continue on. I'm going to bounce out so I can head over and do the bros with the guys. We're doing our Christmas episode. We got each other gifts, and we have no idea what they are. I'm a little scared.
Oh my god! Yeah, that sounds
all right. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Good luck, Andy, and you.
Thank you, guys, and we'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah,
and schedule it, and maybe we'll do a crossover show on the DNA show where we'll have both you guys on, Pedro awesome, and the general, and we'll have you guys on and do something like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, that'd be great, Andy. Thank you for your time, buddy.
You got it, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, man.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, sorry, Andy. All right, pops. Hey, you know what? Out of everybody that played along with it, I want to thank you. The general appreciates it. I'm not your car insurance guy, but no. Let's go ahead and wrap this. Put a little bow on.
Let's do it, man. It was an awesome show. It was an awesome show, General.
Hey, you know what? This character might come back. We'll just see.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I got something to show you guws.
Whoa, what's that? Well, a double camera. Double camera.
Big in that camera, would you there, Ginge?
Sure enough.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
It's the Roku preview channel, guys.
Oh, nice.
Right
there you go.
We're on TV.
There you
go. Mom, I'm on TV.
It is live. You can go over there on Roku. You can watch 10 of our hand-picked shows that we picked out. That it's hard to pick that many out of 2,600 or whatever, dude. I'm telling you.
No doubt.
It was hard to pick 10 shows, but we get this thing funded and we get it all up there, and you'll be able to see the whole freaking banana. It'll be cool. And it won't
certainly
be taped.
We were your first choice.
It won't. So. Look at that upside down that lamp. That's cool. It will not be taped to the wall, guys. It'll be good stuff. I promise. Turn that camera off. All right.
The revolution will not be televised.
Or it will be in this case. But
or it will be, actually. The revolution will be televised.
By citizen journalists.
Speaking of, they heard of the revolution, guys. It's on.
Yeah.
Remember, your phone is as powerful as as anything else.
Dude, you know that police siren is because like 1,000 yards away, there's a house that has like 9 kids.
Jesus.
And the kids want the police car to turn on the sirens, and they go, yay! So that's at this hour it happens.
Yeah, well, it's like the equivalent of kids wanting them to, like truckers, to honk the horn.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So nobody's dead.
So guys, real quick here.
I just had a really awesome moment with the youngest grandkid. He's up there and he's got a calculator and he's trying to learn times. And I was like, that's not how you learn your times. And I had his brother make him a multiplication table. And right away, he's on it. He's like, 7 times 4 is this. And he's like, all the answers are right there. So, but it was like, I did that with all 4 of the grandkids, made them multiplication tables so that they could learn to do their times. And the last one just graduated through Munchkinville. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to learn math. When the last one is trying to learn, math, then you did your job. You got them interested.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Well, there you go. Very wholesome. Wonderful.
It was fun.
Very good.
Seeing his little eyes.
Great.
Like looking at he's gonna get all the answers right
here. Absolutely. That sounds fantastic, Pops. Truly. Okay, guys. So real quick before we skedaddle, I do want to say hello, or I guess technically goodbye. We had a great group in the chat this week, so special thank you to you all. Past Master Dan, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to see you. My boy, Stefan.
Yes, Star. How you doing, man?
A couple of new things in the
well, hang on, let me say goodbye to the chat real quick.
Just don't end the stream. I want to play a couple ads on the way out.
All right. So Marcus Kelligrew, hey buddy, thanks for coming by. And of course, we got Shadow Punk. Yep, check out his stuff. I believe you can pretty much find him everywhere as Shadow Punk, even on YouTube. Let's see here. Hail Ginge. There's my boy Ichthus. We missed him earlier. I did say hello to him in the chat, but
yeah,
he did sneak by. Okay. All right. So Rob Wilson, of course. Thank you, sir. You're always welcome on as well.
Yep.
I think that's everybody. Namaste.
Master Dan. Yeah, you know it. Love that dude. He's everywhere.
All right, boys. So real quick, Pedro and I, we've got a campaign in the pre-launch.
Yep.
Sort of vibes. We got waifus and kaijus.
Yeah.
We'll drop that in the chat. And that's also in the description.
Sign-ups before we launch that. Is that still the plan? What's going on with that?
Yes, that is still the plan. We've come to a bit of a standstill on the sign-ups, but that's okay because we're working on the book anyway. So
we're working on the book, and I'm working on promotional stuff. Like, dude, this trailer is gonna floor everybody. Everybody's gonna be nailed to the wall with the
that won't surprise me at all, my friend. I'm just saying, you know.
I'm getting better at this animation thing. I might say, and it's horrible because I don't like to toot my own horn like that.
He does love to do that. Don't let him lie.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do it. Toot. Oh, fuck it. So yeah.
Those are the only horns I'm trying to toot here, Bubba.
I think he was real good at this about a year ago. Crom thinks so too.
Just back it already.
Pedro's stepping up his game with some. I won't say too much, but you know, there's some. He's shown me some stuff that he's working on. It's.
I already know people that when they get to that point where they want to do their animation, that they're going to be calling you.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm always up for work. I love money.
I tell them, you ain't seen Pedro's video? I start showing them, look at this. Then they're like, oh shit, I'm about to call Pedro. Yep, you gotta call.
Yeah, you gotta call.
Okay,
Pedro.
guys. All right, so let's go ahead because we're holding the chat hostage here. As much as I love to do that, but so thank you again, everybody, and we will see y'all next week on the Ginge and Pedro show.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Yeah. No.
No, just wanted to give you all a heads up that right now you can add the Madness Network to your Roku account right there by Roku.com account. Add Prom 2. Check out our preview. We got 10 of our highlighted shows up there for you to check out. Some of our best stuff from the last 4 years. Look, it's hard to pick 10 out of 2,600 videos, but we did it. And check it out. The campaign is launching soon, so be there.
A creature in the swamps. It lives to destroy. The beast they call Hogzilla.
After his latest get-rich scheme goes sideways, Gary Duba, the quintessential Florida man, ends up with a stash of somebody's high-end memorabilia. His gal Crystal is on probation and preparing for the fight of her life, squaring off against Australia's Queen of Combat. Delilah's got her back in training, staying off rich foods and the nose candy. Meanwhile, Gary and his best friend Floyd have been hired to wrangle a massive, abnormally aggressive feral hog that's terrorizing the swamp and wrecking Gary's old neighborhood. Can they bag the elusive monster swine without destroying the Sunshine State? Reserve your copy of Florida Man vs. Hogzilla at FloridaManComics.com. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
I told that moron not to take out my Tchaikovsky tape. No matter, let's get started. Here we are, Nancy Moon. The last time we left our heroine, she had just joined my esteemed colleagues at level M. And the soldier who cannot stop talking, a magician with a money issues, a vampire with a checkered past. With her other teammates she's yet to meet, one in particular might be a little bit shocking for her. I do hope she's not allergic. Back it today, won't you? Like right now.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.